guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is Saturday the 10th of October and today is World Mental Health Day. It only seemed fitting that today I did my own mental health update. It's been a couple of months since I did my last one and I thought, you know, I'd share with you how I'm doing right now. So there is going to be a part 2 to this video which will be up later in the week, but I will get to that a little bit later on in the video. But yeah, I've been putting off actually doing these 2 videos for a while now. I think because my mental health has sort of been all over the place and I've been really quite struggling the past couple of months. I have got notes written down, so this may very well be all over the place, but hopefully in editing I can put something together that's of use. And really the reason I do these videos is just so other people can find them and know that they're not alone with what they're feeling, whether it be anxiety, panic attacks, depression or any other mental health disorder. Just knowing that you're not alone in what you're feeling and that there are people around you to support you even when it feels like you're completely on your own. I always state in my mental health videos that you can always reach out to me, whether it be in the comments down below, whether it be an Instagram message, or if you want to email me, I'll leave my email address in the bio below. But yeah, always feel free to reach out to me if you need, you know, a stranger to talk to, because sometimes that can help. So yes, can you tell that I'm waffling so I don't get started on my own things? So shall we start off with a positive, and that positive is my dog Baloo. If you're not new to my channel then you would have already met Baloo, but if you are new and you're just stumbling across this video today, then this is Baloo. He is our rescued miniature poodle. Yes, I've got some other videos if you want to know more about him and how we rescued him, but this little bundle of fluff has been an absolute saviour to my sanity. He is the ultimate feel-good dog. Like, he is just given me a sense of purpose when really a lot of the time I don't feel like I've got a purpose. And like even on my bad day, like my really bad days, like, well, we'll get on to like really bad days in a minute, but like he gets me out and about, in the sense of walking him. So on days where I would quite like to just hide under the duvet, I know that I've got to get out and feed him and walk him, and yeah, so he helps me, you know, get out of the house, whether it be for just like a short 10-minute walk, or whether that be, you know, a half an hour, 45-minute, hour walk. We sort of just play it by ear, do what's best for both of us that day. And yeah, he has been an absolute godsend, really. He's not long had a haircut, so he's got his little bandana on, his Halloween bandana. Yeah, so he's just gonna sit with me, but he is a real companion dog. He sticks by my side a lot of the time, and you know, when I'm having those bad days, he's just there for a cuddle. And yeah, I'm enjoying being a dog mum. So another big thing that sort of happened in our life is that Darren's mum, so my mother-in-law, has been staying on and off with us for the past couple of months. She is trying to relocate down here, so she's been staying with us like over the past couple of months, and that sort of helped and hindered my mental health, I'd say, in a way. Like, we get on super well. Like, I've loved having her. Baloo's loved her and her dog being around. She definitely helps me to, you know, go out, do a food shop, go out and walk the dogs on maybe a longer walk on the days that I don't want to. Like, without her knowing, she probably does that. And yeah, so she's been helping me, you know, have less bad days, but also at the same time I feel like I've had to mask my bad days a lot more. Like, she's totally like fine with the whole like depression thing. Like, she's really supportive about it. but I feel, and like I don't, because I know she probably will watch this video, I don't want her to feel bad about this, because it's just like circumstances, and like we wouldn't have had it any other way, her staying with us. But I feel like I've had to put on that braver face a bit more, and even when I'm like maybe having a down day and would want to stay in bed, I've had to like force myself to get out. So in those sense, I've maybe forced myself more than I would have done if she wasn't there. And yeah, and like on some of those really bad days, really it was just like Darren that probably knew how bad that day was. So if you have just stumbled across this video and you've not seen any of my others, just a little bit of backstory. We are coming up to, well, next month in November will be a year that I've been out of work due to my anxiety and depression. The depression has definitely taken over and being like the heavier thing on the scale as opposed to the anxiety. But I still suffer with both daily, weekly, and yeah, there are a couple of days earlier, well, last month, where I actually forgot to take my tablets for about 4 days, and then I was like having some crazy, really bad down days, and then I went to take my tablet and was like, crap, I haven't taken them. That is why I've been feeling so rubbish. And usually I'm really pretty good at trying to take my tablets, but I think it's because where I wasn't sitting down having cereal, I was having like smoothies and things, trying to be healthy. I wasn't sat in front of my tablets going to take them with my breakfast. So there were a couple of really rough days at the end of September, where I didn't want to get out of bed. Like I was having some really like bad thoughts, like that like Darren and Blue would be better off without me. Nothing to the point of like suicidal, but just feeling like I've got no purpose, like what is the point of being here. And I will touch on where that sort of comes from in a minute. But yeah, as always, Darren has been such a support and a rock to me. Over these past couple of weeks and months, we have had some pretty shit weeks in the past. I mean, I know everyone's had a really tough time with COVID at the moment, and I feel like mental health has really been highlighted during COVID, you know, check in on people, and a lot more people are suffering with depression for the first time during this period. And although that's like a really, really good thing, and it's bringing light and it's bringing, you know, people are more sympathetic to others, it's also, I feel, left some people a little bit in the dark still, because people still don't know how to go about breaching the subject, talking. They don't want to like set someone off, they don't know how to like start a conversation about how someone's doing. And from that, I would just say like the best thing to do is like just reach out and say hello, and be like, you might not want to talk about how you're doing, but just know that I'm always here, and you know, if you want to like pop out for a coffee, you know, bear in mind what you can do in your area during the COVID time. But yeah, this is slightly all over the place, I'm sorry. And I think overall lately I have really been suffering, and that's largely because I'm worried about our finance situation. Like I said, I've been out of work for a year. Darren's been super great. He's been working his arse off, trying to support us, doing some overtime and things like that. And it puts a lot of guilt on me. And he says everything's fine. Like, it's not my fault that we're going through this. It's just like circumstances. He's not pressured me to go back into work. Like, he's been super great about it. But at the end of the day, I still feel a massive weight on my shoulders and a massive guilt to try and help out, to provide financially. Like, although I'm trying to like help out around the house and like do all the cooking and cleaning and like looking after Baloo and things like that, I still feel like I'm not doing enough because I'm not out earning money. And like some days he'll come home from work and like I will list off to him everything I've done. Like, I've hoovered this, I've dusted this, I've fixed this, I've painted this, and I think that comes from a point of trying to like justify like me being at home, like, hey, I've been productive, I've not just like sat on my ass all day, which sometimes you want to do because you're so like depressed. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I have those days, and I think even like what you're seeing now is so, I don't want to say like catfishing, but you only are seeing, you know, this half an hour space of me, because it's probably going to be like a 20-minute vlog, but there have like, this is like one good day that maybe I've had in weeks, where I've felt comfortable enough to get up, do something with my hair, put on a bit of makeup, and sit down and talk to you about my bad days. Like, I've got to be in a relatively good headspace that day for it. Like, if I was having a really shit day, I could not come on here and say, this is happening X, Y, and Z, because it wouldn't be no fun to watch. Like, not that this is fun to watch, but you wouldn't get any sense out of me, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I'm always feeling like I'm trying to justify to Darren like all the things that I've done at home, so he doesn't resent the fact that I'm at home. And, you know, deep down, I don't know completely how he's feeling. He says he's okay, like, he doesn't resent me being at home. It's just the way things are at the moment. But, you know, at the end of the day, I still feel a massive shed load of guilt. And, you know, financially, I'm not going to get into too much of the financial side of things, but I have had to apply for, you know, some help from the local council, the government, because I'm out of work, because I can't work at the moment, you know. My doctor says I can't work at the moment, and I probably applied for that back in April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So we're like 6-7 months in now from the first point of application to I'm still not receiving, if they end up approving my application, I'm still not receiving the money that I could get because I'm out of work due to my mental health. And, you know, that can open a huge can of worms, so I don't want to talk about it too much because people get very funny about things and benefits and that sort of thing. And, like, growing up, benefits are always a sign of, like, being a last resort. You know, I've always had an amazing, good work ethic and strive to want to get out and work. And to not be able to go out and work is slowly, like, killing me. But the fact of the matter is, like, I am not mentally stable enough to hold down a job at the moment, and, you know, as much as I'd like to say that YouTube helps pay for things, it doesn't. I have only just got onto, you know, the partnership program with YouTube again, after a long arse battle, but let's be real here. I can see how much I've earned, and I've earned like $20, and that's maybe in the last like 6 months. And YouTube, I'm pretty sure, doesn't even pay out until you hit like $60. So at the moment, YouTube is not a side hustle for me as much as I'd love it to be. And, you know, I don't do my videos for the money either. I wouldn't have been doing it for 10 years if that was the reason for it, because I ain't blown up in the YouTube community, so that's that. And, like, some days, like, especially when I'm having really bad days, I think, well, why can't I just go out and get a job? Like, what, like, is this me just being silly? Like, what, I should be able to just go out and get a job, and, like, you forget that you have this other, like, side of you that is the reason that you're in bed that day and can't get up, and maybe haven't got dressed that day, or maybe haven't even showered in a couple of days, that sort of thing. So the whole money side of it has really affected both mine and Darren's mental health. We're lucky we have super supportive family on both sides who have just been amazing, But at the end of the day, like, I still feel guilty for putting Darren through it. I still feel guilty for putting, you know, my parents through it, because it's having a knock-on effect on them. And just to give you a glimpse of maybe what a really bad moment can look like, and when I say moment, I don't just mean, you know, maybe an hour. I mean, like, it could be a morning or an afternoon. Some days it is the whole day, but some days I can wake up, feel really, really bad in the morning, and then I'll have a midday nap, and then I'll get up in the afternoon and be super productive. I'll be whizzing around the house trying to clean things, getting stuff done, and the same vice versa. And like, in my notebook here, I tick things off. I try and make lists, and, you know, some days I tick one thing off, and some days I think, you know what, today I am not even going to look at my list, because an accomplishment for me today is just getting up out of bed and walking the dog, and that is fine. That is okay to just have that be a goal for the day. Whether your goal is to get out of bed, make yourself 3 meals that day, get out of bed, get dressed, have a shower that day, all those things are okay goals to have, and if you achieve them, great. If you don't, that's fine. You need that day to do that. There's always the next day. You know, all through lockdown, and to be honest, this has been going on for some years, I have always had like a creative mindset. I've always, like, my dream job is to own, or one of them at least, is to own a successful small business, like maybe not on Etsy, but, you know, that sort of thing. Something really creative that I can be the sole, you know, owner of and maker of, and just be able to run a little business from home that's really successful and, you know, helps provide something financially for me and Darren. And, you know, over the years I have tried many things. This room is pretty much a holder of all of my craft things that I've tried over the years. I've done all my, you can still like find some of these like down below in my links. So I've got the British Knitter, which is all my knitting items. I've got the British Stitcher, which is some of my headbands that I made, like stretchy jersey fabric headbands. What else? I started to make some photo frames for Jewish weddings, and, you know, I've got a whole book that is written up that I try to put forward to agents. And the recent thing is, you know, making fantasy pins. And, you know, I've tried all these different things, and I sit there and I think, you know, you see these other small business owners and you think, why is like mine not taking off? Like, why is this not going somewhere? And you think, is it because, you know, I'm not trying hard enough? Am I like spreading myself too thin with all these different avenues? Not like I'm doing them all at the same time, but, you know, am I not focused in on one thing enough? Am I not like sticking it out for long enough? Because obviously things don't happen overnight, but like, especially when I have my bad days, those are the things that can really, like, some of the thoughts that go through my head, and it can be the smallest little thing that will just trigger something. Like, I could be scrolling through Instagram and I see one post maybe of someone that's really successful, and that will trigger in my mind, why are you not that successful? Like, why can't you do that? And yeah, so that's been a big part of like my thoughts at the moment, is having all these creative outlets and feeling like none of them are going anywhere, feeling a bit useless with them, really. So that's pretty much what's been going on. And then the other big mental health thing that I'm struggling with, and is a video I'm going to record next, which will be the second part in this little mental health update, is, and I've mentioned it and touched on it before, but I've not done a sit-down video properly to talk about it, and I am really nervous about doing it, is I am a shopaholic. And that term probably gets thrown around too much. You know, when you think of shopaholic, I think of Confessions of a Shopaholic, the film and the books. and a lot of people, you know, they say, oh, I've got a shopping addiction, that sort of thing. I do have a shopping addiction, and it's very much mental health focused. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole different video, so if you do want to watch that, make sure that you subscribe, because then you'll be able to see that when it goes up. Yeah, I am pretty nervous to record that one, so be nice all. But yeah, I think that's all that I've got to say at the moment, you know. Not a cheerful update by any means. I'm still struggling. The fact of being out of work for a year nearly is, like, I never thought I was going to be out of work this long. The thought of going back to any form of, like, proper, like, I'll say shop work, but, you know, any, like, location-based work terrifies me, and definitely induces anxiety in me. I definitely feel a sense of pressure to go back to work, not by Darren, but, like, I feel like I am expected to go back to work at some point, and like my mum will say to me, like, maybe you should, like, start thinking about going back to work. And, like, how do I tell her and other family members that that just does not seem a possibility at the moment? And especially, I think it's hard with family members that don't see you, like, live with you on a day-to-day basis, because they necessarily only see, like, your good days and, like, when you're feeling better. They don't see sort of, like, how up and down you can be. And, like, my mum, she has been out of, it's different circumstances, but she's been out of work for about 25 years now, you know. She gave up work when she married my dad, and he was able to support the both of them. And then, you know, she raised me, and that was her full-time job, was looking after me and the house, and, you know, doing things for my dad's business. And I know it is different circumstances, but I don't think she wants me to, like, never be able to go back to work in that sense, because she feels like she would find it super hard to go back to work now, because she's been out of it so long. She doesn't want the same to happen for me. And that also scares me as well, because I don't know what my future holds, and I don't want to be out of work forever. I want to feel like I've got a purpose, and that I want to feel fulfilled in what I'm doing. Not to say that, like, obviously I love being at home and looking after Baloo, and, like, doing the stuff around the house. But like I said, I'd like to be able to do something that brings in an income, and something that I feel fulfilled in doing, whether that be, like, an outside job, or that's something that I create myself. I think I'm going to end the video there for this one, because I think I would just waffle on a lot more. I hope this video has been somewhat either informative or helpful, or God knows what. But, you know, this is just sort of how I document my mental health. And is there something on my glasses? I think that's a shadow. So yeah, I will leave links down below to anything that I've talked about. I will also link down below mental health charities and any, like, helplines. If you're feeling low today or any other day, then these are places that you can maybe reach out to. Even if you feel like today is the day, you know, people are talking about it more and more this weekend. If you feel like today is the day to reach out to someone and tell them how you're feeling, then go for it. That is and can be one of the hardest steps, is to acknowledge that you're struggling, and that you maybe need some help or just need someone to talk to. So yes, yeah, I will see you in my next video, and hopefully after the shopaholic video it will be some lighter content. But yeah, stay safe, stay well, and I will see you soon. Bye guys!